Cunnington for the dream start.
Welcome to another episode. My name is Dean Vassey. You can find me on X at #Kangas, Instagram #Kangaroos podcast. Today I have my third premiership player as a guest from the AFLW team, key position forward Kate Shierlaw. Kate, welcome to the show and congratulations. Now, you came to the club a couple of seasons ago, and after a heartbreak 12 months ago, or maybe about 14 months ago now, not only you, but the girls pretty much performed the perfect season. Not something I imagine going into the season that you would have thought you'd be undefeated and win a premiership almost quite comfortably in the end.
Yeah, definitely not what you sort of expect going into the season. We were definitely confident enough that we would perform well, but yeah, you never really know how different teams and how the season's going to unfold. So yeah, it's a bit of crazy to look back on how it all unfolded, really.
Yeah, do you reflect back and sort of think, geez, we really performed, a season that, is very rare, like to go undefeated. And even generally when teams go undefeated, they get a bit unlucky in a finals game or something happens and they might lose a finals game. But to go undefeated, I mean, you must be almost a little bit chuffed, and it must be still a bit of a surreal feeling.
Yeah, surreal is probably the right word to use. It doesn't really feel like that's what happened. I mean, the ultimate success at the end was to win the premiership, and it didn't really matter how we got there throughout the year. We were pretty process driven, as I'm sure all the other girls have mentioned to you, and a couple of the games we kind of treated as losses, which probably helped along the way. And we never really felt like or even talked about being undefeated throughout the year. And we knew there were a couple of teams that were real challenges to us, and we knew what we had to do to perform and to beat those teams, and we were able to do that, which is probably huge growth on even 12 months ago.
I mean, I guess one of those games that you might have felt like a defeat was the draw against Geelong after a comprehensive round one win against the reigning premiers Brisbane. You almost got a little bit of a reality check that if you go away from the things that you're so good at, that you almost dropped down to the pack. Was that a real reality check for you girls in round two early in the season?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Geelong, I really rate and respect Geelong as an opposition. So yeah, I think it was a little bit of that, a little bit of we were trying to play perfect footy and the weather wasn't conducive to that. So yeah, we just didn't adapt throughout the game as the weather changed and the wind and the rain came in. It was a pretty difficult game, and who knows if playing it in 35-degree heat in Brisbane the week before impacted us. I honestly don't know the answer to that. We definitely didn't get ahead of ourselves, but I do think we were trying to play that perfect, beautiful footy that we sort of played in that round one game, and the weather probably didn't match to playing that style of footy.
Now, you're not the only person that said you've got a lot of respect for Geelong and how they go about it. We're almost shocked that they didn't play finals this year. They had a couple of poor losses. I think the week after against us, after drawing, they lost in a surprise loss to Carlton comprehensively. I don't even think they kicked a goal that game. Were you a little bit surprised they didn't at least play finals?
Yeah, definitely surprised, and I'm expecting them to bounce back massively this year. I watched that Carlton game. Just shocked, really, but I think it's similar to what we'd done the week before. I think they were trying to play really good footy, and it was a really shocking day. Again, we had a few games that the weather wasn't great, and the way that they played against us in that weather and compared to how they played against Carlton was very different. So I'm sure they'll improve a lot over the off season, and I'd expect them to be right back up there.
Yeah, another team I suppose is Melbourne. I know we beat them comprehensively at that shithole up at Casey. But, were you almost a little bit surprised they didn't play finals either?
Yeah, probably less so with Melbourne because they'd lost a lot of their experienced players and role players, which is just so important. We value our role players and across our team so much. And when you lose those experienced players, it does really impact you. And it's so hard as 18-year-olds to come in and impact the competition. And so the ones that do, it's amazing that they can do that. But when you've got 5 or 6, playing each week, it's very hard to match up against the experienced teams.
No, that's fair enough. Well, let's talk about the game. And it was a night grand final. How did you handle the nerves during the day going into the game?
Well, I probably changed my mindset a bit because I was expecting it to be a wet weather game, which wasn't going to suit me. So I was probably just probably calmed me a little bit, and I just was thinking wet weather, bring the ball to ground, compete, blah blah blah, that kind of mindset as a key forward. And then when I was driving to the ground and it's pouring, and I was thinking, yep, key position, not the best day, but yeah, let our smalls go to work. And then it ended up being perfect conditions. Really, you couldn't have asked for better 2 hours of footy. Tiny bit dewy on the ground, but really like unbelievable weather. And the night grand final, I was a bit unsure about it. But playing at night with the lights and stuff is a bit strange. But I definitely think compared to last year where it was super hot, the weather this year was, last year, 2024, was, perfect for footy, and, couldn't have asked for a better night.
No, I mean, so you're a fan of the night grand final?
Yeah, in some ways. I really liked the weather and the atmosphere and the feel of it. And it was a bit hard celebrating, and post-game it was so late. Like, we had our function and it was at like 1 o'clock. Families were still there till 2 o'clock. You couldn't really like enjoy being out on the ground. There was just a few things, logistical things like that made it hard. But I really enjoyed the whole spectacle.
No, that's good to hear. Anything different with your preparation during the week and before the game, knowing it is probably a night grand final? I mean, you did mention that you thought it was going to be a wet weather game, and it did rain a fair bit that morning. I remember thinking, this is going to be a wet weather game. But like you said, it cleared up beautifully. Anything different during the week?
No, I think this year was way different to last year. So last year there was so much hype and excitement, and it was like the first time we'd ever made the grand final, and I think just everyone was on cloud nine and probably just wasted so much energy throughout the week, and probably played the grand final a bit too early. But this year it was so different. Everyone was so calm. It was almost like an expectation we'd get back there the way we were playing our footy, and obviously, you go out and you perform the prelim and stuff like that. We didn't over celebrate the prelim. We sort of, we knew we had bigger things to do the next week. So the week was pretty calm and normal, which I think made a huge difference.
Well, the prelim, I think we had already won the game 10 minutes into the first quarter. So, that's what it felt like anyway. But, I mean, it was the year before we played the Crows, and it was 1 point win, and no one expected us. Even the most optimistic person like myself probably didn't expect us to go all the way last year, because we always thought that there were a couple of better teams. But we surprised a lot of teams, especially in that first final against Melbourne, and then getting a prelim at home against the Crows. And I think that was the first time we beat them in our history. So now we can't lose any games. So. Everyone's our bunny at the moment. How was Emma Carney? Was she okay during the week?
Yeah, she was good. I think she admits now that her prelim, because she'd missed so much footy, she was probably just trying to chase the footy, get her hands on the ball. And I think it was like a bit of a good for her to get that run in. And then she was able to have a clean week on the track. So she trained really well throughout the week. And then that made her feel really good going into the grand final, just back to playing how she normally plays, like just defense first, and then her offense comes from that. So she was doing that at training, and then she was able to translate that on grand final day really well. And when we had the momentum, she was a big part of that. But she always prides herself on actually defending first, and not chasing the ball, and then the offense comes from that.
No, well, I felt like in that first half, I thought she was best on ground. We've seen it turn back the clock almost 10 years, was best on ground in my belief. It must have given you all a great amount of confidence in that back half, seeing her almost turn back the clock.
Yeah, I to be honest, I had goosebumps from like the excitement of because every time she did something, the crowd was, you could feel the excitement in the crowd. And I know she hit one to me when she faked around someone, and just that the ability to do that movement and then at speed hit targets, I think is just unmatched in the competition. And the energy from the crowd, I think that translates to us, and then it all fits in together beautifully.
Yeah, no, she definitely took her game to another level. Maybe the 6 weeks off helped her. We won't get into that.
Yeah, I think she was she felt really fresh, and potentially the rest of us from playing more game time in the heat the week before, maybe not as fresh as she was. So she definitely stood out physically as well. I think she hit her top speed for the season in the grand final, which is pretty cool.
Oh, definitely very cool. Did she say like she did a few few fancy moves out there, ducked and weaved, and did she say to you after the game, Sheila, the hips don't lie?
No,
I'm glad you laughed at that.
Yeah, no, I didn't get much of that. She had a lot of people telling her how good she was, and yeah, she just stands there and cops it. It doesn't say too much, just cops it. Yeah.
Yeah, very humble by the sounds of it. So yeah, I probably wouldn't have been that humble, but good on her for doing that. Now, 12 months before.
The most impressive thing was she didn't say anything to the Brisbane girls. So I think that she's grown up a lot in terms of her antics on field, and I think they said a lot of stuff to her last year in the grand final, and this year when she dominated and played really well, she was able to keep her head cool and didn't say anything to them. So that's pretty good from her, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Well, how old is she now? She's 35, so she's definitely starting to mature. Yeah, so
yeah,
yeah, good on her.
Definitely different from what she used to be like. That's for sure.
Oh, well, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with someone chirping a bit out there. You give as good as you get sometimes, Kate. So, that's. I think she takes it in her stride anyway when she cops it. So, yeah, she doesn't. It doesn't really affect her. And some people thrive on that sort of thing. And,
yeah, she definitely does. Yeah.
Yeah, and it probably makes her the player that she is today. That if she can get in the head of the opposition and say a few words, nothing wrong with that. Now, 12 months before, and sometimes the first few minutes can tell a story of a game. I mean, Jenna Bruton does her Achilles, and she was a real important player going to that game. I think she was almost best on ground the week before against the Crows in their 1-point win, and it did hurt. But the first few minutes of this game in the grand final, and Dakota Davidson gets one out the back but drops the mark. I was thinking at the time, this might be our day. Where were you when that play unfolded, if you remember it?
Yeah, I do remember. I sort of played a little bit higher forward, so I was pushing up towards the wing. And I remember they had a few fumbles. I think one of their wingers dropped a chest mark as well, and because she was out, she was so out, she dropped that, and I was like, thank God. And then Dakota dropped the next one, and so I was pushing up to the D50 to sort of help defend, and she was out and should have marked in gold probably, and that you just think, geez, that might be a big turning point or lucky point for the game, but I do think that we had the momentum for the most of the game, but that start, they could have capitalised early, and you never know how momentum can sort of play out.
Yeah, I mean, the first few minutes, it felt like everyone's nervous. It's a grand final, so it was a bit of a nervy start. But I felt like we settled pretty quickly when Tess Craven kicked that goal early, where Jasmine Garner found one out the back, and then we sort of seemed to get a bit of momentum. I think Elisa Lachlan kicked a goal after that, and we were always on top of the game when we got our flow going. Yeah,
I think we probably could have. Probably won by more in the end, but you can't be too fussy. But I think we capitalised on our opportunities quite well when we did get it inside 50. So I think our entries weren't great across the day, but when we did, people had set shots, they capitalised, and scoreboard pressure is huge in grand finals. And I just felt, even though we were probably 3 goals up, I just felt we were all over them across the ground with our pressure, and you can sort of feel from Brisbane when you're sort of getting on top of them. I think we were on top of them for most of the day. And the last quarter, when they tried to throw, everything at us, just run forward, we just were set up so well, and they just couldn't get through. No matter what they threw at us, I felt like we had the answer, which is, last year when they did that, we sort of cracked and they just ran away with it. So it's been huge growth in maturity and staying stick to the game plan, which is great to see.
Well, it was a story of pretty much the whole year, wasn't it? They became almost reactive after we kicked that first goal, like a lot of teams throughout the course of the year. Once we got on top, they almost became reactive and almost a little bit overwhelmed by how the pressure was going. Like I felt like our pressure was at our best. It's relentless, and no one can get an inch of space. And like you said, that last quarter they tried to go all out attack, but it resulted in a turnover early. And I think Vicky Wall kicked a goal early in the last quarter, and that was it. That was effectively game over. So, yeah, I mean, it just felt like the system, like you sort of spoke about, was there in the grand final, like it had been throughout the course of the year.
Yeah, I think probably the sister team defence system is the biggest part of our team, and the pressure the tackle numbers might be big in the midfield, but I feel like our pressure across the board, even from like Emma King, Talia Randall, down to Sarah Wright,
yourself as well.
Yeah, like it's relentless across the board, and it's not just our small forwards, it's not just our mids who are always around the ball who are applying the pressure, and the pressure might not be the person right in front of the ball carrier, but it might be the next layer, which potentially you don't see on the TV or whatever, but the layers of our defence is just so strong, and we're so in sync with each other that, we don't rely on a couple of players, even in defence either. It's like, it really is the whole team working together.
No, it definitely is. I mean, you could see Brisbane, they couldn't, spread, they couldn't run and gun or anything like that. And yeah, it's really good watching. It's just the story of the whole season. I felt like it just went according to script. Now, we kicked a good score, but did you think that we wouldn't get a goal from yourself or Talia Randall, the two big key forwards? You both more than played your role for the night, but it was Vicky Wall and Elise O'Loughlin that really stepped up, didn't they? Like they did all year. I think O'Loughlin is the best small forward in the game right now.
Yeah, I think that's the beauty of our forward line. Like you throw Bella Eddy in there, Kingy comes down, can take a mark, or just even take a good tall defender, bring the ball to ground, which we value as tools in particular. We just value so highly to create opportunities for people like Alice and Bella and Vicky and that to get to the feet. But yeah, like I just love, even just through the final series, just different players stepping up at different times, and you don't just need Jazz Garner to kick 2 or 3 goals. And I don't know how many goals our mids actually kicked in the grand final, but yeah, we had Alice and Vicky capitalise in the grand final when they kicked really well, kicked straight and impacted highly, and then our other forwards just impacted in other ways that we value just as highly as the scoreboard.
Yeah, it's not always about the goals you kick. It's like you said, it was a forward half almost press,
and it is like standing up in big games for Alice and Vicky, like particularly Alice, a young player, will be huge for her confidence. And she had a super year after a super grand final last year, so she'll just go from strength to strength. But yeah, it is like we value so many other things as well that she brings and the others bring. So yeah, the forward line is pretty dangerous, and it's hard for defenses to work out how to and who to stop.
No, it definitely is. I mean, I think it was the first final we were losing to the Crows in the first half. You see Bella Eddy stepping up big time in the third quarter. I think she had something like 6 touches, 4 tackles, and kicked 2 goals. Really important goals. She didn't have that contribution in the grand final, but still played a role. But you had someone else like Elise, and if it's not Elise or Vicky, it's you or Talia Randall. It's a very formidable forward line, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's across the season, all of the forwards had their moments, and it was Alice and Vicky that had the goals on the board in the grand final, but they had their moments throughout the year as well, and so did the other girls, which is the depth is very exciting, and hopefully we can grow on it again this year.
I did mention that Elise O'Loughlin is the best small forward in the comp, but I think if Bella Eddy is listening, she might have a few words to say about that. But yeah, we'll keep going. Now, second half, I just mentioned Emma Carney before, but Jasmine Garner with 22 touches in the second half. I mean, we can talk about her for a long time, but I don't think your partner, Emma, would appreciate that. But how good was she, and how good is it being on the football field with her?
I sometimes pinch myself how lucky I am to play with Carnes, Jam and Ash, like some of the great players of the league that we've ever seen at W level. I think the game against Port Adelaide, I remember just being in awe of Jazz. I think that's the best game I've ever seen her play, that I've seen. And then she followed it up the next week in a completely different style. So she was very clean in the Port game. Like her hands were elite, her kicking. But I feel like in the grand final when the pressure was really high, she gained a lot of meters for us. She won the hard ball. She's so clean at ground level. I've never seen a player who's just so one touch and can manipulate her defender the way she can and get the ball moving forward for us. So she's just like walking around with this like confident aura about her, which makes everyone else walk a bit taller. Every time you're around her before a game, you just feel a little bit more at ease knowing that you're running out with one of the greatest.
No, definitely. I mean, she's very relaxed, isn't she? Like on a football field, she seems, very relaxed. Is she like that off the field as well?
Oh, she's super relaxed, but she's also very competitive. So she's got a very good balance between, she works extremely hard. People probably don't realise how hard she does work and how competitive she is. I know some trainings, if, people are fumbling a little bit, she gets really frustrated and she'll just go in there with her long arm and just wrench the ball out, pick it out, take off, and off she goes. She picks her. Yeah, she can just do things that others can't. But I think it's her competitiveness that balances really well with her calmness that makes her so good.
She seems like she doesn't like all the attention going on her. She rather, like I know every time she's interviewed, she always deflects to always talking about the team. It almost doesn't look like it really sits comfortable with her, all the plaudits she gets.
Oh, definitely. I think that's one of the best things about our team, to be honest. I don't think there's many in our team that do like the plaudits, and you can just see how selfless she is, and she's one of our, main leaders in the team. Carnes is the same. Ash is the same. Like, there's so many girls that they're so good at what they do, but you wouldn't know the way that they carry themselves around the club and treat everyone and work hard and all those sorts of things. You wouldn't know how good they are, which I just think is my experience so far at the Roos is just, that's one of the big things I've noticed.
Yeah, no, very all humble individuals, all selfless and no egos, that's for sure, which always makes a great team. That's for sure. It's the key ingredients, I think. So
yeah, and I think just the drive for team success. Like everyone says it, but they really do live it. And that means way more to them than any individual stuff that they could and should get.
No, definitely. Now, we do get a goal early in the last quarter through Vicky Wall, and it looked like it was probably over. Out on the field, now you might have mentioned this a little bit before, but when did you think in your head, they aren't winning from here?
I think early in the fourth, I came off for a sub and I thought, we've got this. And then I think, we kicked another goal, and I think I was on the bench for that. And I just thought, how good is this? We can actually sit back and enjoy the atmosphere and, really soak it all in because, they were throwing everything at us and you just felt like they just could not get through.
No, they didn't have any answers, that's for sure. They'd run out by then. What did you do straight after you hear the siren?
Oh, I was just like running around really, and the first person I saw was Alice.
Nice.
So she jumped into my arms because she's a bit smaller than me. And then all the forwards had a really cute moment actually, which obviously is not caught on camera because the camera chases all the big names in the midfield and Carney and those sorts of players. But we had a cute little moment as a forward group, and then we all ran to the rest of the team and celebrated as a group. And then from then on, it's just a big blur, just excitement, seeing family out in the field and hugging all the staff. And the staff are so important to what we do and enable us to do what we do. So to be able to share it with them, so cool. And then I think we sung went into the rooms and sung our Hey Baby song that we always do, which was definitely the loudest rendition yet. And now we've won, we have to change that song. So that was our tradition until we won. We'd keep that song.
So did you do that? I did see a couple of clips during the course of the year. So is that a thing you do after every game when you win?
Yeah, we go into a little room, just players only,
Nice.
lights off, and just just dance and just enjoy the win. It's those little moments that really, like, when you look back on your playing days, they're the ones that, you know, really stick out, and how fun the environment is. And we were able to do it quite a lot this year because we won. So it was actually, really cool.
Definitely very cool. Now, you sort of said it was a bit of a blur, but that first hour after the siren goes, the celebrations, you can't explain that feeling, can you, to people wanting to know what it feels like to, win a premiership straight after the siren goes?
Nah, and I think because there were so many North supporters as well, like the crowd was just unbelievable. I know last year I was in just total awe of the crowd, but yeah, probably as the game wore on and we fell out of a chance to win, you can't enjoy it as much. But the third quarter last year, the crowd was unbelievable. I think when Alice got the rundown, holding the ball and kicked the goal, we had all the momentum leading into three-quarter time. That was unbelievable. But then this year we were actually able to really enjoy it, especially that last quarter. Amazing. So then to be able to do the lap of honour, to see all the fans and just soak it all in with them. Just seeing so many kids wanting selfies and signatures, and you just sort of realise it's actually a really big deal. And so it was just, you celebrate with the fans and everything, and then your family, and as well as teammates and staff. It's very overwhelming, but amazing feeling.
You could have mentioned yourself in that third quarter when you took that mark, the Royal win, against in the grand final. I thought you might have mentioned that, but you went Elisa Lachlan, which was straight after that. So trying to be humble like the rest of the team.
It went loud. My mark was loud, and then Alice's holding the ball was so loud. It was, I will never forget that. Yeah, no,
well, I'll never forget your mark. It was Wayne Carey, back in the 90s. That back into the pack. So very good mark, one of the best I've seen in AFLW. Now, also, I can't remember seeing you, but did you get the Premiership ink as well?
I did, yeah. I got it on the back of my elbow. So there's a group of us that got it on the back of the arm. Bit more subtle, and absolutely love it.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Was there any that sort of struggled with the ink?
Well, I'm the biggest sook. I reckon Kim Rennie and myself, I think, are the two biggest sooks in the team. And I was really scared waiting, but it was fine. Totally fine. I don't know what everyone's talking about. It was over really quickly and didn't hurt. So, yeah.
No, good to hear. So, you're probably a lot tougher than you think you are. Did you feel any extra pressure knowing you went into the finals undefeated, and a few media people, and I won't mention their names, tipped the lines? Or were you just, as my daughter's calisthenics coach would say, shout out to Kayla Keegan, pretty chill about it all?
I definitely, in and out of my mindset, I did, had a few thoughts, more not around the undefeated. It was more last year's grand final, I think, for me, because we're playing Brisbane again, and you just never know with Brisbane. You never know, they just seem to be able to put on performances that sort of, you just shock you from nowhere. And we really respect them, especially after last year's grand final. But you just have just a bit of that unknown anxiety, I guess. But I think as a whole, the year gave us so much evidence and confidence. So, and you just look around at players like Jazz and Carnes and even our younger players who were really calm as well. And I just had so much trust in every single player playing their role. And when we do that, we're very hard to beat. So I think we've just had a really good mindset of, keeping everything simple and not trying to be remarkable. And, it ended up being, good.
Yeah, it worked out pretty well. So, it's trying to be more present in the moment and not, look at the big picture sometimes is a good way to be. Does it make you more hungry for next season and want to have that feeling again?
Yeah, I never want to not have that feeling, but I think so. There's everyone says, the premiership hangover, whatever, but we celebrated for sure. But the talk around the girls is, again, how can we get better? And everyone's back to work, getting fit and strong, and it's a very contagious feeling. You almost have to hold girls back from doing too much because they're just so eager to keep getting better, and which is great problem to have. rather than people who you have to push to do stuff. But I think we've got incredible buy-in from the whole playing group. So, yeah, I'd expect everyone, especially, the young players as well as, your older players, just to keep getting better.
No, definitely. I mean, that's where the challenges come from the players that don't miss out, that did miss out, sorry, I should say, Need Martin and, Eliza Shannon as well, that probably want to, get that, want to come into the team. So they're only going to give you more competition, which is very good. Just on a personal level, you must have been happy with your season overall. You have become an important player to the team structure the last couple of years. We lack that second key forward. Do you have yourself goals for next year, or is it just a team thing again and playing your role and, trying to get back to back, I guess?
I was happy with the consistency of my season. I think I feel like my biggest benefit to the team is to help the others and the structures and the leadership out in the field, and playing that sort of a link role that you play a bit higher up the ground a lot of the game, to allow like Talia to play a bit deeper and use her strengths a bit more. I was happy with consistency. Moving forward, same for me. I'm always just trying to get better. So I keep working on footwork and timing of my marking, and keep trying to get fitter and stronger, and keep my speed at my age is a big part of my game. So try to keep fresh and healthy, and we'll see how the year goes. But mainly team orientated sort of stuff, and try to help the girls around me as much as I can.
Now, I did notice, like, in a lot of games this year, in the last few minutes of a quarter, you do drop back as that loose in the back line. Is that something you enjoy doing, getting just back there and playing as a bit of a loose?
Yeah, I really love going behind the ball. I did it a little bit when I was at Saints, and then I think that was part of the when I moved over. It was part of that having the experience to read the timing of the game and know when we need a bit of help back there, and just an extra number airily that can help out. And if there's talls that are sort of getting on top of us, we do have an incredible backline, but we're not overly tall, so there are sometimes the talls that can impact airily, and probably just try to help out there and give us an extra number to then move the ball forward. But I only really go back there when we're under the pump, or to settle at the end of a quarter, so it's not too much. But I'm open to sort of going back there in the off season just to learn a bit more and develop a bit more, personally as well.
No, very good. You played a fair bit. I noticed in that night game against the Crows where they were coming hard at us the last quarter. You sort of played a really good role there. You got a couple of touches, which were quite important. So it's not about a little role. It just mixes up a little bit too. Now, we seem to have only gotten stronger in the off-season with the recruitment of Eilish Sheeran from Richmond. You look forward to playing with her next season, especially after the success of getting Libby Birch from the D's this year. Well, last year, I should say.
Yeah, I feel like we've done a good job at getting experienced players in. Libby last year just played a really important role for us and helped our structures and stability down back. And then Eilish, I expect her to play in the back line as well, but I'm not 100% sure. Again, it just adds huge depth to our team and a real push for spots for playing. Like I just look at our back line and it's an incredible back line. So for a really good player to come in and push for a spot in there will be a good challenge for everyone down there, and good problem to have. And her explosion and power and long kick, I think, will suit the way our forwards play when we rip back hard, get up high to help defend, and then rip back hard with her penetrating kick. It might be a really exciting way to play footy.
Yeah, well, she's a very good player, so it only adds more depth to a very strong list. So, we can't we get her in and, work it out from there what role she'll play next year, whether it's a little bit midfield, half-back, or, even up as a half-forward, who knows. Well, what's the plans for the off-season then, Kate? I mean, there's still a few more months till pre-season starts. I did see you been away a fair bit over the Christmas period. I think you travelled a bit, according to your socials.
Yeah, Carnes and I went to Perth or WA, did a bit of a road trip just after Christmas, but headed back to Adelaide first to see my family, and back to Kansas Farm as well, and then to WA, did a bit of a trip over there, and been back and just done a few weekend trips, but back into training. And I know we had a sort of starting our fitness testing this week, and we've all had to do our 3-minute max run today, which sort of brings back that anxiety of testing and all that sort of stuff. But that's what we love, and we'll keep working hard and keep getting fitter. But the next couple of months, probably just weekends away here and there. No trips this year. Plans to keep healthy and fit. Couple more months of running around an oval, and then we'll be back to pre-season training before we know it.
Yeah, when's that roughly start? Around June, would it be?
I think May this year, so middle of May. So we start sort of optional skill sessions with Croc, I think, next week. We've had a bit of a blackout period where the club's not allowed to contact us. We've had programs that we've all followed, and now that we're out of the blackout period, testing and skills and stuff sort of start. So a bit of not as serious as May, but definitely everyone's working really hard behind the scenes.
No, that's good. And do you all gather together, like get in groups or anything like that, or do you just do it pretty much yourselves? Jazz Ferguson sets up. She's the social queen of our team, and she sets up monthly catch-ups where we do social things. But then a lot of the girls are doing the runs together, gym together, just nice. To help motivation levels and to push each other. And then I think we'll start Saturday. We always have Saturday Run Club, which we start, I think, end of the month. And then the skill sessions where everyone will sort of filter through to get going with their skills. And we'll really start ramping up now. No, that sounds good. Well, that's all I have for you, Kate. Did you want to add anything else before I let you go?
No, that's all from me. I like amazing support from all the North fans, and I'm really hopeful that the boys, follow and sort of have a bit more success. And it's contagious throughout the club because you can sort of feel it, the hype around the boys. They've sort of been in around when we've gone in for gym and stuff. Really exciting, and hopefully they can have a good season.
Well, we're definitely hoping so. They have hit the ground running in the pre-season. So, we'll see how we go with them. They're starting to heat up a bit now. Well, Kate, I really appreciate you coming on. I know it's that time of year where people are starting to get back to reality and back to work and so forth. I know it's been probably a month. But I appreciate you taking the time today and sharing your experiences from Grand Final Day. From all North supporters, not just myself, you have brought a lot of joy. And I look forward to speaking to you more often when pre-season starts. You are very humble, and look forward to seeing you go back-to-back later this year.
Thanks so much. We'll do everything we can to go back-to-back and have another good season. So thanks for having me on.
No, that's all you can do. I hope all you listeners enjoyed Kate as well. Leave a comment on YouTube, subscribe, follow the pod. Follow Kate on socials. Where can they find you on socials?
Oh, I think I'm just, Kate Sheila, I think.
No, fair enough. I can't remember myself. So, so that sounds good. Make sure to do that. Just follow Kate Sheila. That's it from me. Bye for now, and go Roos.
Bye.
See you, Kate. Thanks for coming on. Really appreciate it.
No worries. Thank you.
No,